Chat. English VAs and localizers just let the, what is it? Just went full mask off. Chat. I have logged into my Blue Sky account, and I gotta say, man, it's a little hard to not want to go in there and just talk all kinds of sideways at people over there. Although I know I probably shouldn't because I wouldn't have any backup and I'm in their domain, so that's probably not smart, but I don't like these people, man. Anyways, let's go.
Here we have infamously corrupt localizer Katrina L. advocating for her couch activist buddies over on Blue Sky to call up and harass Japanese companies to try to force them to use union actors and localizers like her.
I feel like, and this sucks to say, I hate saying this, I feel like the closest they could do this with is like Japanese companies, right? Now, mind you, they're doing this on Blue Sky, so she has 20 likes. I could still get more likes, and I'm banned off of Twitter. Like, they know to do this on Blue Sky because no one will listen to them on Twitter, right? Like, where the real people are. It's just like, actually, no, I take it back. I feel like these people wouldn't be able to get Japanese companies. I was gonna say they could probably get Japanese companies to listen more than they can get a Chinese company to listen to, but I don't even know at this point.
The entitlement from these people is insane. Here's what she says.
Yeah.
If you are a fan and want to do something to pressure companies into paying for union actors and good translation, bully them.
But the way we get better translation is you being fired. That's what she doesn't get. Her being fired will instantly make it better. Right? And listen, I've heard some of these VAs are not that good.
Send emails shaming them. Comment how you will never buy their game again. Call their customer support line. The louder you are, the faster companies will change. It's crazy that modern audience people like Katrina will get mad at gamers for criticizing AAA corporations. And sure, we might joke about like bullying the corporation, but that just means like we're laughing at their latest flop. We're looking at the Steam charts and laughing at their latest flop.
Yeah.
And we're criticizing their predatory monetization practices, right? Very reasonable things, really. But here she is like actually advocating to literally bully the employees at the corporation, even calling up their support line to bully them because they understandably, as a Japanese company, don't want to sign a union agreement with.
I was trying to find this tweet too, and I couldn't find it because I didn't realize how long ago this was. And bro, these people tweet non-stop over on Blue Sky. It's kind of wild just how often these people just stay terminally online on Blue Sky, right? You would think like V-tweeters tweet a lot. You should see these people. I think it took me like 2 pages of scrolling to get past one day with them.
An American union that is also notoriously corrupt. That, of course, being SAG-AFTRA. There is more context to all of this stuff, and I'll go over all of that with you. There's kind of a lot to unpack here, too, how we got to this part. But for anyone who's not familiar with Katrina, or maybe just wants a refresher, when she's talking about good translation, this is hilarious. Good translation.
Yeah.
Because she became infamous years ago during a situation with a manga called I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend Into a Girl, involving 2 men. One was a femboy, one wasn't. And these 2 guys end up dating. It's like a gay manga, right? English localizers, via 7 Cs if I recall, then actually changed the femboy character into a trans person, completely altering the source material. This was so egregious.
Dog, just find a manga like that. Why do you need to translate? And if you like fan translate it, sure, whatever. I don't really care, right? Like people do this all the time with characters, right? They self-insert whatever thing they want into say a Hoyoverse character, right? People are saying that every character in Hoyo is gay, blah blah blah. They do that. Sure, right? Who cares? They're not, whatever. But the fact that this was an official translation is what really bothers me. Do it if you whatever your headcanon is, totally fine. That's between you and the Lord. But you know, making it official now, everyone has to listen to your headcanons. Like, dude, come on.
That when the mangaka found out, he actually had 7 Cs fix the error.
I'm glad.
And reprint the entire thing.
Good.
Now, Katrina is not the localizer that did that mistranslation, but she did publicly post support for that localizer, saying that the localizer did nothing wrong, essentially, according to my recollection. Again, this was like 2 to 3 years ago at this point in time.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, really ironic that she's going to actually have the audacity to talk about good translations.
How do these people still have work, by the way? That's my question. Again, I'm always asking this, and I know that the answer is probably right in front of me, but it's like, seriously, why do these people still keep getting work?
She doesn't care about good translations. What she does care about is forcing her agenda into Japanese intellectual property. Now, the context to this post is actually her responding to voice actor Ben Diskin, who recently lost his role as Mega Man, as Capcom didn't want to sign a union agreement with SAG-AFTRA. Capcom, of course, being a Japanese company, and SAG-AFTRA being an American union, and one of the most notorious.
You didn't have to give up that role. You could have just kept doing it. It's so narcissistic to be like, this company needs to listen to me, and now you have to sign my union agreement because I say so. This has nothing to do with the game. They never wanted it to have this, and it was never intended. So now this company is bad for not listening to me and my request. Dude, it's the Hoyo thing all over again. And I like when these VAs do this because I like shitting on them for doing this, right? I love going out of my way to make fun of these VAs who come out and try to push SAG-AFTRA. Like, that union is so predatory, and they don't seem to understand that. Like, $30,000 a year from voice acting, or you don't get your insurance. That's crazy. And the craziest thing is that they defend it. I don't know how.
Worstly corrupt unions in the world.
Yeah.
More on that in a second. That is all the context. We'll take a look at Ben Diskin's statement about no longer being Mega Man and all that. And then we get a series of very whiny posts from Katrina.
I didn't know Mega Man talked.
Leading up to the one that we just...
Oh, my God. Is this AI? They had the doubled space thing. That's like the AI signal, right?
That. And then we get a series of very whiny posts from Katrina leading up to the one that we just read.
I'm telling you,
she's advocating for people to harass Japanese companies over this stuff. But really quick, something also hilarious I'll point out. The date that she posted this is March 10th. Keep that in mind. As now we hop over to Twitter, and this tweet from March 12th, a mere 2 days later. And we can see this says, AI manga translation company Mantra has now partnered with Shueisha, Kadokawa, Shogakukan, and Square Enix.
Again, do I want AI to be taking people's jobs? No, not really, right?
It translates.
I would prefer people to keep their jobs and not have them be taken away, you know. I would prefer people to be able to feed their families, but you're going to find it hard for me to defend you when you do things like this, like taking original content and trying to make it your own, trying to put your own spin on it, as if your job isn't to just translate it. You know what I'm saying? If you really want a manga to have whatever message you want, write your own. That's it. Literally just write your own. They did. These mangakas, they did. They wrote whatever they wanted. They had an idea. They put a pen to paper. Why don't you? That's all I'm saying.
Tens of thousands of manga pages per month using ChatGPT, after which human editors revise the output. Mantra is also involved in Vietnamese One Piece. This being a follow-up to news in 2023 that announced Mantra, this AI service. And so now, a few years later, we're getting news that, Mantra is partnered with these major Japanese companies, heavily involved, obviously, with the anime and manga industry.
Cool.
Now, look, I would prefer if we had human localizers that really just focused on translating things authentically, and they genuinely like the Japanese IP, they like the anime and manga communities.
Because here's the thing, right? That job could have gone to someone who loves Japan, right? Who loves anime, who wants to, in one way or another, to be able to work in that industry, right? And they're gonna put their heart and soul into translating it, and translating it well. But instead, it goes to these people who I don't know if they hate the medium, but the way they act, you would assume they did. So now someone who has a passion for this medium, now they don't have a job because this person like Katrina ruined it, right?
They enjoy their line of work. and they're not using
It's like
that
the same thing with voice acting, right? Like voice acting sounds kind of fun, but I don't want to work with these people.
position to take advantage of said position by spreading their ideological rhetoric. Unfortunately, that's not the reality of what we have. We don't have that genuineness. We have
Right.
the inverse. We have these ideologically compromised people taking advantage of their positions to shoehorn in this sort of agenda-driven rhetoric, as mentioned. For example, what I just talked about regarding the manga, I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl.
Wow.
And Katrina's own somewhat involvement with that situation. But I have plenty of other examples as well. I mean, we've seen so many examples of this stuff occurring over the years, and I'll show you some that have briefly come up recently as well. But this is all to say that while I would prefer to have, actual good people working on this stuff, I'm not going to feel bad that corrupt people are losing to AI at this point. And that's a very common sentiment that I see from the anime and manga community. Localizers are just disliked, very heavily disliked for good reason, because they've been doing this stuff for so long. Now, one important caveat being the section where they say after which human editors revise the output of the AI. So hypothetically, if the people revising the output are also ideologically compromised, corrupt, entitled people, that could still be an issue. So we'll have to see how this all really plays out. But either way, this is at the very least a massive thorn in the side of very corrupt localizers. Now let's take a look at a few examples of recent Reddit tier localization. As I mentioned, we got some recent examples of this. Here we go. Packer Girl had reported on this news, saying, breaking, Crunchyroll localizers insert male fragility in 2 anime English dubs this week. We can see the example on the bottom where the original subtitles had said, male pride is such a pain, and that got changed by the localizers to fragile masculinity, added again. And the other example, where we can see the context had said, of course there are things a tough girl like you wouldn't understand, and the localizers changed that to, you are a tough girl and therefore too strong to fully understand male fragility.
And you know that these people had a bunch of friends that they showed it to in like a Discord, and they were all just seal clapping about this. Oh my God, you're so right. You did such a good job. Wow, how cool. Maybe I should put it in my next translation. You're a loser, bro. I don't have any other words other than you're a loser, bro. Oh my God, it's so cringe too. I don't get it.
The irony of these people talking about fragility as they shoehorn in their own rhetoric.
Yeah, if you tell them that this is dumb and this was not a good translation, they'll be like, "No, you're a jug. You don't get it. We know what we're supposed to do. It's supposed to be for the global audience." Blah, 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 blah. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, that's a self-report right there. It's crazy that we're in 2026 and you still see like Reddit tier cringe translations like this, or localizations, I should say.
There is one that I found and I can't find it. I found it once while I was scrolling Twitter, and obviously since I'm suspended, I can't look things up again. Does he show it? I was wondering. Was it this one? Yeah. Okay. He's gonna show it. We're good.
These people, man, they have no character development.
We're good.
It's just pathetic on their part. We have another example. Packer Girl also posted, breaking, Crunchyroll localizers insert chud into You and I Are Polar Opposites anime English dub.
There it is. I found the actual dub to this. I found it on Twitter. You know, although I can't search things up, like things or anything, I could still go onto the front page. Luckily, my front page is what's it called? Curated enough to where I will get this stuff, right? I will get like VTuber and any kind of news that I would typically normally talk about. This came on my feed, and I was like, I watched it. I was in my Discord talking, and I was like, I hate English dubs. I hate them. These are so dumb. I hate these so much.
Original context had said, it pains me, but I can't.
He's like, I'm a total chud. That's how he said it too. That's how he said it, chat. That's legitimately how he said it. I'm a total chud.
And help overhearing. Localization version. And now I'm eavesdropping on them like a total chud.
There it is.
Another example. Original context had said, I'm just so. And then the localizer changes that to, I'm such a chud. So this.
Like. And they're going to tell you, I've seen people in the comments looking at this dog-ass translation, and they're saying, But this is how teenagers talk. You're telling me that a teenager talks like this? Can you find me a teenager that talks like this? Because the only people that I find talking like this are 45-year-old Reddit users saying things like, you're a total chud, bro. And they're always on people like r/circle jerk and stuff like that. Like, this is not how normal people talk, bro. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to me. And I don't deserve to be lied to. What did I do to deserve to get lied to? You know what I'm saying? I didn't do anything. What do I got to get lied to?
One is really funny because it comes off like the modern audience is so mad that a word they spent years trying to turn into an insult for gamers and or people who don't fit their hive mind, that being the word chud, is not seen as an insult by most people now. Like, gamers reclaim that word. We're not insulted by that word. We call each other chuds as jokes nowadays.
It's not a real word. You would be hard convinced to it would be hard to convince me that this is a real word. It's not a real word. You're lying to yourself.
Is all the time. We don't care. So now we have a modern audience localizer trying to shoehorn that word into an unrelated Japanese IP in a negative context to really desperately continue trying to make it an insult and like a negative thing because they're so mad that gamers reclaimed it successfully. All right, with all those examples out of the way, we'll return to Blue Sky and Katrina's series of whiny posts in response to the aforementioned news of Ben Diskin announcing that he's no longer the voice of Mega Man, saying that he was asked to return for Mega Man Dual Override, but only on the condition that he works without the protections of a union contract, which he didn't agree to, saying, I was told there are, quote, full AI protections in place that guarantee in writing that my voice will never be used for AI development, unquote, but was also told with certainty from Capcom that the project will not go union.
I'll tell you this. I believe them, right? You would think something like, okay, again, we have to go back to this. I'm not even, at this point, I don't even care that I keep going back to Gotcha, but Genshin Impact, HoYoverse, Wuthering Waves, all these games also have this clause, and people try to say, well, you should go union. Well, no, it's a Chinese company. It can't go union. And they put it in writing that you can, they will not use your voice for AI in any way, shape, or form. And I could tell you right now, 6 years later, I've been playing Genshin Impact for 6 years. I know. The event told me yesterday. They have not in any way, shape, or form used AI like this. I could probably say that with pretty full confidence, right? And it's still not enough for them. I don't know what they're expecting. Like, all of a sudden they're gonna do it. Like, no, bro. And it's worse too because they waited months for people to come back while they're like protesting, and they still didn't use AI. They could have used AI, but because it's in their contracts and they have AI protections, they never did it. They waited for the VAs to come back. They never did, and then they just replaced them.
He says, while I certainly appreciate the acknowledgement of the concern around AI,
I believe Capcom wouldn't do it. Like, I haven't seen a company actually do it that isn't like, yes, we're using AI, right?
AI working without a contract I can realistically enforce isn't something I can risk. The only way to enforce non-union contracts like this involves personally taking giant companies like Capcom to court and suing if I thought they'd use AI. I don't have the mental, emotional, or monetary strength to survive a protracted legal fight. Now, I paused for a second because I was getting flashbacks to the HeroHei situation last year.
There we go, yeah.
When a number of SAG-AFTRA voice actors were saying that they were fighting for AI protections with the contract they wanted HeroHei to sign, the so-called interim agreement via SAG-AFTRA. But as you guys all know, as is history, the contract was actually about much more than that, and the SAG-AFTRA union VAs...
They lied, basically. It wasn't... The SAG-AFTRA strike didn't even have anything to do with HeroHei. They just shoehorned themselves in, and even the union was like, wait, we're not talking about you.
We're trying to monopolize the industry to the extent that they could basically bully out non-union VAs, get them fired, make them lose work, and or force them to join the union. But again, to the public, they were presenting all of this as, oh, we're just innocent VAs trying to get AI protections. When in reality, there was a lot more to it than that. It was a complete power grab. So this is to say that when a VA, especially on Blue Sky, is talking about how they just want AI protections, I'm going to say X to doubt. I just can't believe any VA at this point in time saying similar rhetoric. Plus, Ben Diskin actually was actively advocating at that point in time for the SAG-AFTRA side.
There it is.
So, yeah, I'm not just going to believe what this guy's saying at face value. Now,
Right.
that said, while I'm saying I don't believe him at face value, I'm also not calling him a liar. He could be telling the truth. Maybe that's all he really wanted out of Capcom in this specific situation.
Man, here's the thing. There are certain people who say that I wouldn't believe. Ben Discus is not one of them, right? Because he hasn't given me. Now the thing is that every time I give him I tell him, every time I say that they haven't given me a reason not to believe them, they do give me a reason not to believe them. But I will say right now, he hasn't given me a reason not to believe him, so I'm gonna believe and say him saying that he's doing this because he wants AI protections. I get it. I get it.
But that still doesn't justify trying to force a Japanese company to sign an agreement with an American union. Especially, like I've said before, a union that has a terrible reputation as being one of the most corrupt unions in the world. Well, hey, that Japanese company won't sign an agreement with them? Oh, I'm so mad. I can't believe that. This is so unreasonable. Okay, bro. He goes on to say, in my heart, I want to believe Capcom would never use AI, but in my head, I'm aware that basically every major corporation is looking to incorporate generative AI to save money. The video game industry is facing record layoffs. Yay, get wrecked AAA. Stay mad, Ben Diskin and other people that are...
Yeah, the game industry is record layoffs because you guys are doing recordly bad sales. Like, you guys are doing... Like, the AAA industry has... Marathon is, like, maybe a positive... has a positive revenue source. Nobody else does. That's why you're having record layoffs. People need to make money to get to not get laid off.
Mad about that. And huge amounts of uncertainty. I need a union contract to feel safe. Also, as an aside, I don't think it makes sense to strike for over 11 months to get enforceable AI abuse protections and then turn right around and go to work without them. Okay, important context on that. I don't think he's referring to the Hoyoverse strike on that one, the loose collective work refusal.
I don't think it was 11 months.
I think he's referring to the actual official SAG-AFTRA strike against video game corporations, in which that strike was specifically going after major American
and then
corporations.
They went back.
It was never going after foreign corporations.
Yeah.
So this is a conflation on his part. He goes on to say, I truly wish Capcom was at least willing to speak with SAG-AFTRA about doing this game union. I love the implication there that Capcom's not even willing to have that discussion. They're just shutting it down instantly.
That's pretty funny.
Dub for Capcom. I expressed that I'd even be willing to work on a lower budget union contract if it meant this flipped. It genuinely wasn't about the money for me. It's been an honor voicing Mega Man in Mega Man 11, the best-selling game in the series history, and watching Mega Man reclaim his rightful place as a gaming icon. I hope Mega Man Dual Override is even more successful than 11, and that everyone enjoys all the hard work the devs are putting into it. Good luck out there, Mega. I just wish I could have been there with you. And this random guy's like, I think you made the right decision, Ben. Heart. Now, for the record, Ben Diskin is also someone who has defended corrupt localizers before.
Yeah.
In 2025, he had said, localization done correctly involves changing the dialogue.
No, it doesn't.
This isn't out of disrespect. It's so the original creator's intent comes through to the intended audience. When it comes to comedy, for instance, there's a saying. The subs can tell you a joke. The dub has to make you laugh.
Trying to think of when a dub has made me laugh. Recently. Obviously, like, older dub, yeah. I haven't even watched a dub in such a long time. I guess you know what I'm saying?
So first of all, obviously localizers should be doing their best to make accurate translations. Sure, sometimes that can reasonably involve having to make changes to the dialogue because certain words don't translate well from whatever language they are into English, right? We all understand that. That's obvious. We get it. But these localizers are going above and beyond that. They're changing way more material than they should be, and in many situations...
Yeah, when you have a whole different... What's it called? When you change the entire genre from yaoi to whatever else they were going to change it to, I think you're kind of overstepping your boundaries. Do you not? I feel like you are. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, you did too much. You need to acknowledge that. Now, if you're just translating it and, you know, something's happened, sure. But when you're going in, it's an entire... Now it has to be identified as a different genre. You went too far.
Even adding their own ideological components to the localization, and in other cases, adding terms that they're trying to use.
Also, I don't know when chud would make someone laugh. I don't. I'm such a chud. Are you sure that's supposed to be funny? I don't know, man. That's kind of wild. I'm such a chud.
Insults like the chud example we just saw a moment ago
Right.
because of how politically brain rotted these localizers are. Now, the second thing is his saying here. Once again, when it comes to comedy, for instance, there's a saying, the subs can tell you a joke, the dub has to make you laugh. I just don't think that's the case. I think it's fine, actually.
I think you should stop using that phrase. I think getting rid of that phrase is probably better.
If someone's consuming material from outside of their country, they're going to understand that certain things are going to hit different. In this context, a joke. Wow, you're going to miss a joke, whatever. That's actually part of the charm and the appeal when people consume something that's different outside of their country, right? If we want to consume something we're going to understand fully, for me as an American, I'm going to watch or play something that's American. And to be fair, I play plenty of American things. I watch plenty of American things.
America.
When I want to watch something from Japan, I'm going in there with the expectation that this is Japanese IP. They have a different culture. They have different language. It's different. And that's part of the charm. That's part of the appeal. And that therefore may mean certain things are going to land a little bit differently. If the translation is done accurate, it might fly over my head. I might not understand it. And again, I actually like that. And I think a lot of people who enjoy intellectual property from outside of their region are going to share a similar sentiment. Now, you're welcome to agree or disagree on that. To be fair, that's a pretty subjective opinion. What's not subjective, though, is the evidence that I'm about to cite. Because around 5 years ago, NISA localizers went on stream talking about the game Trails of Cold Steel 3 that they were working on.
Oh, I remember
and
this.
And they literally said on stream that they will change Japanese jokes in their English localizations because they find the jokes to be offensive. More specifically, they literally said that these jokes are sexist and they changed them to fit the culture of the region they're localizing for. In this context,
you guys are losers, bro. But here's the thing, though. Was your job? I guess they would say that. Yeah, that's in our job description. But man, people like these companies, and I get it, right? They're just looking to have anyone translate it so they can kind of get it to the West and have them go to like the global market. Sure, they need to specify in people's contracts. You can't change this much. Just translate it. Well, obviously, you know, the best way to change that is now to just go to AI. But they need the companies in Japan need to just put their foot down on this stuff. But I get it because I think they actually don't know when this stuff is happening. Like for that yaoi manga, I think they didn't know until people brought it to their attention, and by that time it was already out. So they had to do this like after it came out. So I don't know if they just don't get the finished product and they don't have it translated to them or what it is, but they should honestly change that whole system and make it to where the Japanese original manga, like they look at it. But obviously it might be too much because they have so much work they have to do, right?
Next America. So because these localizers are personally offended by these jokes, these Japanese jokes, they then try to justify altering them on behalf of all of us. They even took it further and went on to say that this doesn't mean the joke can't be funny. Sometimes it even means that we're improving the joke. We're improving it. These people have so...
Yeah, but you guys aren't funny, bro. Jamie Marquis, when she did the whole patriarchal penis, whatever she said, that wasn't funny. Like, she's not funny, brother. That's just the thing.
Such ego. They have such hubris. They really think that them butchering the source material because of their own, like, oversensitivity is them improving the material for everyone. It's ridiculous.
So
anyways, all that context finally takes us back to Katrina L., who had responded to Ben Diskin, as I showed you at the very beginning of this video, ultimately getting to the section where she is advocating for people to go and harass Japanese companies to try to demand that they use union people for their voice acting and their localizations, right? So here's everything she said before that. It's only like 3 or 4 posts, but let's take a look now with all that context. She responds once again to Ben Diskin, saying, "There is no reason not to go union for your multi-million-dollar budget game, unless you're being greedy and want to pay actors less. They might just not want to deal with people like you."
Also, this is easily disprovable. Look at both people. Look at a union contract. The payout for a union contract and the payout for a non-union contract, right? Show us both pay stubs, and then we'll tell you whether they're getting paid less or not, right? I don't want you to tell me they're getting paid less because you're obviously not arguing in good faith. I just want to see someone's contract and then someone's pay stubs, and then you'll tell me. And then obviously they're getting paid less because they have to pay that to the union anyways.
To be quite frank. And that's
also that, if they get paid more, you also have to factor in how much they have to pay the union.
very understandable. Huge kudos to Ben for standing up for what's right. And shame on Capcom for devaluing the art and skill of voice acting for the sake of saving dollars. Let's be clear, maybe they're saving dollars, sure, but they're also saving massive headaches for not having to deal with people like this. As someone who's managed voice projects in both the gaming industry and Hollywood, oh, great. I know how expensive voice work is. Yes, it costs a lot of money. Everything in a project costs money, but it's an investment into a critical part of localization that pays off immensely.
I want to know. I want an actual example of where localization has paid off, right? I want to see your changes that actually made it better, right? You switching Uguri Cap from saying Merry Christmas to Happy Holidays didn't make it any better. In fact, it made it kind of weird because we could still hear, because Uma Musume and none of them, no Uma Musume voiced IP is has any English in it, so it's all in Japanese. So she still says, they don't have a word for Merry Christmas in Japanese. They just say Merry Christmas. So you hear her say Merry Christmas, and then the bottom it says Happy Holidays. Tell me where it's better. Tell me where it's better.
Ben is right in his thread. Japanese game companies are pushing for saving costs, potentially with AI, but executives are convinced by AI grifters. Oh, wow. Yeah, these people will put grifter on anything nowadays. That no, really, it will solve all your problems and generate free money.
No, I'm pretty sure they believe that. I'm not going to lie to you. They're not grifting. I'm sure that's what they really believe.
Except it won't. As with every technology, AI is a tool. We need to understand how it works, how to use it, and where it's best suited for work. Jackhammers are great for breaking up concrete, but you shouldn't use it to nail a painting to a wall.
Except, okay, I'm not going to advocate. Whatever. Fuck it. Keep going.
Localization, and especially good localization.
Wait, isn't that like the AI thing right there? Is the double space? I don't know. I keep seeing these everywhere. These double spaces have popped up everywhere recently. Even when I was playing Genshin last night, they added that. It was starting to bother me because I just kept getting taken out of the story because I was like, wait, isn't that the AI double space thing?
Yeah, something she's not familiar with is a profit enabler. Hiring talented union voice actors is more expensive, but it guarantees a better relationship and higher quality of work that will undoubtedly improve.
I've heard you guys in Genshin. You're not that much better at all.
Improve profits. So this is actually a big point of contention that SAG-AFTRA VAs have been criticized for before, that being how they say that they're higher quality. As a matter of fact, one of the highest ranking members of SAG-AFTRA, I believe Duncan Crabtree Ireland himself, got a ton of criticism for this and even apologized, though it's probably disingenuous, for saying something similar. For essentially saying that, yeah, our union VAs are more talented than those non-union plebs. Now she's making a similar argument. That went horribly for him. It's also a terrible point by her. And so, she continues though, skimping on localization quality is effectively kneecapping your project. I'm positive that within the next 10 years,
Genshin has been better since these VAs have been gone. And Arknights Enfield has pretty good voice acting as well. Yeah. What else? Wuthering Waves. I don't like Wuthering Waves, but I do like the voice acting in it. None of these have union VAs. In fact, not only do they not have union VAs, they went with a different studio where none of them are American. Except for Alejandro Sab. We literally can't get away from Alejandro Sab.
We will see the companies that shirked good localization generate less profit, and the companies that invested in good localization will generate far more. By then, however, how many translators, editors, and voice actors will leave the industry? If you're a fan, here we go again. This is the final thing. We've seen this before. We'll read it again now. If you are a fan and want to do something to pressure companies into paying for union actors and good translation, bully them. Send emails shaming them. Comment how you will never buy their game again. Call their customer support line. The louder you are, the faster companies will change.
So you have 20 likes on this post. with 2 comments. I don't think you're gonna get the revolution you think you are with 20 likes and 2 comments. I'm just being real with you. You're not gonna hit a huge demographic with that number.
Just insanely pretentious. Just so pathetic on so many levels. Oh my gosh, dude. Anyways, I think that is the video now. I think that's everything I wanted to cover, everything I wanted to say. I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about all of this pretty crazy situation and a lot to unpack here. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for tuning in. Have a lovely weekend ahead, guys, and I'll see you next time.
Wow, that was wild. I mean, I don't know, chat. These guys, yeah, I don't know. Let them be. They're on Blue Sky. No one cares what they have to say. But it's always fun to make fun of them, and I've been making fun of them for I guess a year now. I enjoy it. Anyways, chat. Let me know how you guys feel. Call my subscribe. I'll catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.